We have special guest Ben Johns here tonight. He's going to be talking about his brand new signature paddle, the Elite Pro Maverick. Really nice playing paddle. I've been using it for the last like 3-4 days, several hours a day. I got a lot to say about this one. I'm sure Ben does too. And let's get things started with a little musical intro like I like to do. Ben told me one of his favorite bands was the Eagles. So I got something for you, Ben. Let's everybody try to get into a little peaceful, easy feeling together. Why don't we? Here we go. I like the way sparkling earrings lay against your skin so brown, and I want to sleep with you in the desert tonight, the billion stars all around, 'cause I got a peaceful, easy feeling. I know you wanna be down, 'cause I'm already standing on the ground. I should have practiced that one. All right, little peaceful, easy feeling. And I have to say that is not a good song to start out because this paddle is nothing peaceful about it. This is a beast. Let's bring Ben on to talk about it. He should be coming up here in a second.
Hey Jack, how are you?
Hey Ben, how are you?
Good.
Hang on, turn my volume up here so I can hear everything you have to say. There we go. I kind of botched that song up a little bit, didn't I?
No, it sounded good to me.
I gave it a good try. Yeah, so we got Ben Johns here tonight. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Ben is kind of bursted onto the scene, if that's a word, bursted, within the last 2 years. Just virtually came out of nowhere. I mean, like 2 years ago, nobody knew the name Ben Johns, and now he's one of the top stars in pickleball. Ben came in third. I just saw him at the Atlanta Open here in Atlanta a few months ago. I think he got third. He was playing with Kareem, right? One of my favorite pickleball people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Ben got a gold in men's with Dave Weinbach. What a team that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before that at the U.S. Open, you got a bronze in mixed
Mm-hmm.
and a bronze in singles.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Nationals, you got a silver with Christine McGrath, and you got a bronze in men's open,
Mm-hmm.
right? Open doubles, and a gold in 19 plus singles,
Mm-hmm.
and you got a silver in men's open singles.
Yeah.
So you're highly qualified to be here, Ben. So welcome. How you doing, buddy? How are you, man?
Fantastic.
All right. Let's talk about this Maverick, this new paddle of yours. Now this is kind of a fine tuning of the Elite Pro, is it not?
Very much so.
Let's step back for a second. How did you get involved with Engage to begin with?
Yeah, let's see, Engage. So I started playing in March of 2016, and that was right before the U.S. Open, the very first one. So about 2 months after I first started playing, the U.S. Open took place, and just like a week into playing, I'd heard it was taking place, so I signed up for it. And the first paddle I got from the local store there, Tennis R Us, Pickleball US. I purchased the paddle, and it just happened to be that the
Encore.
the person I talked to, they recommended the Engage paddle, so I went with that one, and I really liked it. And then because I was young and I kind of did pretty well at the first U.S. Open, I guess I just got noticed and I got introduced to the Elliots, and then the rest is history.
Nice. I've always kind of had a soft spot for Engage paddles. When I first started playing, I was using the Encore Pro for a while,
Mm-hmm.
which was very popular a year, 2 years ago. And Engage just seems to be coming out with a new, better paddle every year, every 8, 9 months. And I was really excited to test this one out. So you was your previous paddle the Encore? Did you used to use the Encore and then you went to the Pro?
As soon as my very first paddle was the Encore. Then when the Encore Pro came out, I switched briefly to that. Then as soon as the Elite Pro came out, which was right before the 2017 U.S. Open, I used that and I stuck with that up until this.
So what was it that you wanted that you weren't getting out of the Elite Pro? I know you really like the Elite Pro. And by the way, if you can move a little bit closer so we could hear you a little better, that'd be good. What was it about the Elite Pro that you were just looking for that little extra? What was the missing ingredient that you got with the Maverick?
Yeah, well, first I'd say the Elite Pro it's just an amazing paddle. I still love it. It's really great, an all-around paddle. It does everything I wanted, pretty much. What I really looked for in this paddle that I designed was I needed a little bit more kind of snap, and which is we'll get into the long handle, I'm sure, but I was looking for a little more snap just to bring the ball down for singles, especially on the ground strokes. I needed just a little bit more power, and although the Elite Pro has maximum deflection, which is kind of what we gauge power with, the long handle makes it more flexible, and that kind of makes it more powerful and makes it bring the ball down faster. And that also really helps in doubles on certain shots when you're attacking, like roll volleys and that kind of stuff. So it can really help on some offensive shots. So if you feel, confident in your defense and you want a little more offense, then that was kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah, I did notice that when you give it a nice swing, you can kind of feel the flex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can feel the paddle, like you said, it kind of snaps through.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you that little extra pop without really having to do more.
Exactly.
And I think when people first take a look at this paddle, the first thing they're going to notice is the handle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
It's a long handle.
Yeah.
But do not discount this paddle because of the handle. It's not only for two-hand, backhand type of players. What you get out of the long handle, and tell me if you agree, it gives you nice reach, and you don't really, who's hitting over here anyway, right? So
Yeah.
an extra inch over here is really not going to penalize you a lot.
Exactly.
But the advantage is when you take a nice big rip, you really get a lot of steam on that shot, and you get a lot of top spin to pull the ball down.
Mm-hmm.
So do you find yourself able to swing out more and to keep the ball in and to just hit crazy ground strokes with it?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say it's just the ground strokes. Those feel amazing because it's what I just compare it more to a tennis racket. The longer the handle gets, the more tennis racket like it feels like. Obviously, we don't want to go overboard, and then it's all handle and no paddle. But that's what I was aiming for, just to get that ball to dip a lot, and that really is noticeable, not just with the ground strokes, but with the roll volleys. So if you're hitting kind of a top spin offensive volley, it really drops fast. And then one other thing I'd say about the long handle that people don't really realize is, like you were saying, you really don't use that bottom portion of the paddle right near the handle, right? If you hit it there, it's not really going anywhere anyway. So what happens is when you lengthen the handle, you make the head less rectangular, and when it gets less rectangular, I find that around the edges, not where the sweet spot is, but the edges get more solid. So even when you do miss hit the ball, it still goes somewhere. So it's kind of like I have slightly less head. The head's slightly smaller because the handle, but that head is more solid. So even when I miss hit it, I feel like I still can't really miss, which is exactly what I was aiming for with the longer handle.
Which brings us to the word of the night, which is
solidity.
Solidity. That it is. Solidity. You, I heard you on another interview, and what Ben means by solidity is just, you know, the area where it's just a dud. You want that to be as minimal as possible, and the sweet spot to be as large as possible. So, is that the most important, or one of the most important things in a paddle to you is how it reacts to mishits?
Absolutely. I think that's really underrated because some paddles, they have a great sweet spot. Like the sweet spot's huge. But around the edges where everyone knows it's not a sweet spot anymore. If that part of the paddle is really dead, then really I'm only playing with the sweet spot. If I ever miss the sweet spot, I've lost the rally. So that's what I really didn't want in a paddle. So, I mean, there are a few paddles like that, great sweet spots, but terrible solidity. And there's some paddles, you know, it's not a great sweet spot, but the solidity is awesome. And that's what I prefer. I prefer solidity over a large sweet spot. This one happens to have both, which is great. But yeah, solidity is just huge for me because it just minimizes errors. And that's what pickleball is about, in my opinion.
So if I hear you correctly, solidity is not necessarily the same thing as just the large sweet spot.
It's completely different, and people confuse the two.
Right. So, and I did notice that it was very hard to miss hit with this paddle. You know, whenever I play test the paddle, I purposely just, especially dinking, I'll just try to hit, you know, out around the edge here. To see, you know, everybody knows you hit a paddle in the middle, it's going to go where you want.
Right.
So there's no point in spending all day, you know, testing the middle of the paddle.
Yeah.
So I purposely try to hit, and it's not that hard for me actually to do that.
Hey, and you know what, Jack? I don't know about you, but I can't hit the sweet spot every time. I'm not that good.
Right.
I don't think anybody can. So I'm more concerned with not the sweet spot, but the other parts to it.
But yeah, I mean, it's got a very high solidity rate. I would rate it a 9 out of 10 on the solidity scale.
Yeah.
Maybe something new that I'm going to have to be putting into all my reviews, the solidity scale.
It's huge. People overlook it.
You don't have it trademarked already.
Nope. You can use
it. Yeah, super solid paddle. To me, it seems like it's really meant for an aggressive, free swinging type of player that really likes to attack. I mean, what do you think? What do you think the paddle would work best for? What type of player?
Yeah, so obviously the long handle is really good for aggressiveness. You know, as I said, it brings the ball down, so it just enables you to attack more often. At the same time, because of that feeling, although you want to play aggressively naturally because of that feel, I'd say solidity works better for defense. So if you're more of a defensive player, I wouldn't be afraid of the paddle just because it's really easy to block with. Because that's kind of our solidity too. Because when we're blocking like a really hard shot, you know, we miss hit it more often than, you know, if we're set up for like a dink or something. So when you're blocking, you want the ball to go back over, and that's what defense is, and that's what I feel like the paddle does. So you can play some really good defense with it. I would kind of compare it to, you know, it kind of makes you pick your balls wisely because you know you can block, so you kind of enable yourself to set yourself up more. You play defensive until you need to, and then you know when you hit offensively, the ball's going to come down. So it's easy to be offensive when you want to.
Yeah, that was the other thing that stood out when I first started playing with this. First was the easy power and the extra torque you get on a nice big swing. So yeah, the ex-tennis players are going to love this paddle. The other thing that stood out was what you just hit on, was the blocking. Just when you just stick out your paddle and you block a hard shot, it just feels so solid going back.
Yeah.
That's all how I really can explain it. It's just super solid on blocks, and I guess that comes from the overall solidness of the paddle. So it's a great defensive paddle, great for blocking.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Have you, when you switched from the Elite Pro to this Maverick, was there any shot that immediately you noticed an improvement on, or any area of your game that picked up right away?
Yeah, I mean, for sure the ground strokes. The ground strokes felt, you know, I had, it's the same core and skin as the Elite Pro, so that crisp feel that I really liked was there off the paddle. just that difference was the flexibility, like we were saying, off the handle. Immediately just felt kind of softer on the paddle, just slightly, and the ball would just dip a lot faster. So the ground strokes is the thing I noticed immediately, and definitely the serve, because the serve is basically a ground stroke. Then the more I played with it, the more I noticed that the roll volleys, and those were just, it was kind of ridiculous at first. I was just surprised at how much the ball dropped when I hit it. So those were the two main differences when I first started playing with it.
Yeah, I mean, for those people that are curious how this differs from the regular Elite Pro, it's a ½ inch longer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you get the extra length, and you only lose a little bit of the width. The paddle is like a ½ inch, shorter on the sides in the width. So that's the main difference, is you get a little bit longer paddle without really sacrificing the width, and you get that nice long handle, which you just have to try. You have to experience it to see what it does for your game, if it helps you out. If you're somebody that really likes to hit, drive the third shot now and then, this will really come in handy for that. But it's also nice in the kitchen. I mean, what good is a powerful paddle if you can't dink with it?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you wouldn't have switched to this if you couldn't play in the kitchen with it. But it does a respectable job in the kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, just from it basically, I wouldn't say the difference between the Elite Pro and this on dinking was super noticeable. It was slight. You could tell some difference, but it kept kind of that same dinking personality of the paddle that I liked from the Elite Pro, where the ball kind of stuck to the paddle a little bit because you got that gritty surface. So for me, it makes it really easy to control the dinking. And like we said, it's very solid. So if you hit it, even on a dink, it's still going over. So those are the two things I really like about it in dinking.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Ben, before we move on a little bit more, let's take a quick break here and let's do our little paddle giveaway here. I have a Selkirk Omni here that we're going to give away. We don't play any favorites here. We like all the major brands.
Me too.
But we stick to the good ones. So we have a Glenn Peterson signature model Omni, nice paddle. We're going to give it to the first person that could name this song that I'm about to play right now. Now, Ben, I want you to give me a little help here. Can you keep an eye on the comments and see who gets it first? You're going to know this song.
Sure.
And last time I think I messed up and I was premature in declaring the winner, and I got a grief from that. So I just want to let everybody know you don't have to get it in any particular order. Just tell me the name of the song and the name of the band that did the song. That's it. And the first person that does that will win this Omni. And if they're in the U.S., it's free shipping. If they're outside the U.S., I'm sorry, but you guys just got to pay shipping for it. But okay, let's give it a go. This should be very quick, very, very quick. So everybody got their hands on the keyboard, and here we go. All right, I see somebody got it. You knew that song, right?
There it is. Now I just saw the comment.
All right, let's see who got it first. More Than a Feeling is the song, but we need Boston there too. Who got it first?
Yes.
Looks like
Randy Burchell.
Randy Burkell.
Burkell.
Right?
Sure.
Randy Burkell is the unofficial winner. I will have to confirm later, but the unofficial winner of this Omni paddle is Randy Burkell. Good job. Good job. Way to know your tunes. I think I was a little nervous there. I think I messed up a few notes again. It's hard, with this live thing. You get one take and that's it. All right, congratulations. We'll get that out to you. We'll check everything later on and make sure we got the winner right. There's a timestamp on the comments, so I will check that out later. So getting back, oops, sorry about that. Getting back to Ben, I think we pretty much covered the paddle. If anybody quickly wants to know the specs, it's, it comes in at 7.8 to 8.3 ounces. There's also a light version. Is that correct? I think there's a light one that comes in a little bit less, like 7.5 to 7.8. The length is 16.5. The width is 7.5. The grip is your normal 4.25. The handle is the big star here, 6 inches long handle. Polycore, the chemical bonded skin, which Robert Elliott is always coming up with these great technological advances in the skin of the paddle. He's always pushing the boundaries, that guy. And this is actually the widest paddle you can get at this length. Mm-hmm. There's no other paddle out there that is this wide at 16.5. So, a lot of people, they think that 17 is a little unwieldy, like the blade. It starts to feel a little too long. It's amazing how that little extra half inch makes a difference, but it does. Yeah. But so a lot of people say, what makes this paddle different? That's it right there. It's the widest paddle at 16.5. So everybody check it out. And Ben, I just have a few more questions for you. What is your favorite shot to hit with this paddle? Is it just driving the ball as hard as you can, swing as hard as you can?
No, most of my drives, I don't hit all that hard. Mostly I just keep them low. I'd say my favorite shot, I love it with this paddle, but it's really never changed. It's been the same with every paddle, and that's the backhand roll. That's my favorite shot.
Oh, yeah, the backhand roll. Mm-hmm. That's your shot, man. That's the one that when I watch you play, I'm just so jealous of that shot. That seems to be the last skill shot that most really advanced players develop. Is, you're at the kitchen, you're dinking, all of a sudden somebody puts one up there high in the backhand. You got that nice roll where you just, hit some topspin to it, you put it away. Mm-hmm. And that's just a beautiful thing. Yeah. How did you learn? By the way, what was your background? I mean, did you have a racket sports background?
Oh, yeah. I played about 11 years of tennis and about 4 years of competitive table tennis. So
okay.
I think
table tennis too.
Yeah, plenty of table tennis. I think it was kind of a combination of the two, because I feel like generally table tennis players on those kind of shots, they flip their wrist a little more, and tennis players don't seem to roll it quite as much. They kind of take a bigger swing. So I think it's kind of a combination of the two.
Yeah. So here's the big question of the night: who is the better table tennis player, you or Mr. Kyle Yates?
Generally, I do win, but he has stolen some games off me.
All right, that seems to be the formula.
He's no scrub. Knows how to play some table tennis.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the formula. Former table tennis and tennis. You put those two together, you got a pickleball star.
I think either one can be great, but having both is, why not have a little bit of both?
Yeah. Hey, I noticed that when you play, you play with both hands a lot, right? You'll switch and you'll hit lefty forehand. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, are you naturally ambidextrous? How did you start doing that?
I wouldn't say I'm naturally ambidextrous. There's a few things I can do lefty. Most one-handed things like writing, I can't do lefty at all. But I used to be a baseball player for a long time. So I guess that's the third sport. I did that for 10 years. I was a left-handed batter, but right-handed throwing. So I do have some lefty in me, but as how I started doing it, I played with two forehands in tennis too, for basically all the time that I played. And I figured out in pickleball that in singles, I never use two hands in doubles, by the way. It's always just plain righty in doubles. But yeah, in singles, I found that with a backhand, it's very difficult to get around the ball. You have to hit it with a closed stance with a backhand. So it's very difficult to get it cross court. Whereas a forehand, you don't have to. So you can kind of make people go the wrong direction since they know they have to cover both sides when you're hitting a forehand.
So it keeps you more in the center of the court too, right? When you could hit that
Basically,
lefty forehand.
it just gives you more options. People, they try to return to your backhand in singles for a reason, right?
So do you only pull that shot out in singles?
Just singles. There's no lefty in doubles.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you hit those ground strokes with your left hand, and they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's just doubles. It's very very little time. It's a pretty fast game. So switching hands for me, I know some people can do it. Like Curtis Campbell, Enrique, and maybe Wesley a little bit. But for me, it's too fast to be switching hands, and I like my backhand a lot. So I really only do it for singles.
Yeah. So let me ask you, who is your who do you like hate playing against the most? When you see you're lined up to play them next, and you go, oh God, this is going to be tough. Who is the person that? And this doesn't mean you hate them as a person.
Yeah, no, there's some people I love that are difficult to play. I wouldn't really say I hate playing anybody. It's always a fun match because even if they're difficult to play, it's a new challenge. And I really just like playing against teams that are challenging, and
come on.
it's a fun game. So I want it to be fun, and that's what is fun. I'd say some opponents that give me some trouble. Kyle, obviously, and I think we know each other's games pretty well, so it can be really difficult, and it can be great to know each other's game, but it can be frustrating when somebody knows what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
And then I'd say Matt Wright. He's got I think we play pretty similarly, so it's kind of just seeing like a mirror image. So we both grind those backhands, and then one of us hits like a backhand attack. So I just feel like we play very similarly. So that can be really tough, just because we're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, I hear you. And last question: do you ever get mad? I mean, you're always smiling, you're always happy. Look at you. When they say, "I'll have what he's having," what's your secret to being so happy? You just love the sport so much, don't you?
Come on, Jack. I play pickleball. How could I not be happy?
That's right.
But I think most of the time you see me on court rather than off court. So I'd say on court, I'm pretty relaxed because I'm playing pickleball. It's a really fun game, so that's generally pretty relaxing. And if you do get frustrated or mad or however you phrase it, it's never works to your advantage to show that. So why would you? So I might be frustrated, but I try not to show it. Hopefully I don't, but I think I'm still not very good at it. So I think I show some frustration sometimes.
Yeah, you hide it pretty well, and it's great to see young players out there really having fun, enjoying the game, helping the sport grow. I know you're starting to do a lot of teaching now.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're going back to college. I think, what are you in your second year?
Yeah, I just finished my freshman year in May, and I'll be starting up on August 27th.
So, yeah, methinks your name is going to be around the pickleball world for a little while now, and I
Hopefully.
see you improving. And with this new paddle, there's no stopping you now.
Well, thanks, Jack. That's the hope.
So I appreciate you spending time with us. I just want to remind everybody to order this paddle. I mean, check it out. Go to the engagepickleball.com website. Use my promo code Jack10, and you will get 10% off. And it's already it's priced really nice. I think it's like $125. So it's not as bad as some of the other premium paddles, and it's every bit as premium as any of those more expensive paddles out there. I guess Robert wanted to get this thing out there and, gave a nice price on it. So take advantage of it. $125 less 10% equals something. And it's
112.5.
Something like that. Yeah. And I am an accountant too, but I'm nothing without my computer with me. But yeah, go order from engagepickleball.com. Use my promo code Jack10. Check out my website for all my previous reviews. It's pickleball. Oh boy, pickleballpaddlereviews.net. Not .com. Don't go to the .com guy. He's no good. And join my Facebook group, Pickleball Paddle Reviews on Facebook. If you're not in there yet, what's wrong with you? Get in there. Send me a request. I'll get you right in. And Ben, you got anything coming up you want to talk about? What's in the next couple of weeks for you?
Well, this weekend I'm going to be in Philadelphia. I actually am right now. Just kind of seeing some stuff for a few days. But yeah, Friday through Sunday, you may have seen it. We're teaching at Green Valley. I got a few other pros with me: Kyle, Aspen, Christine, among some other great players. And we'll be teaching. I think it's 114 people over 3 days. So it's going to be a lot of people and a lot of pickleball. So that's this weekend, and then the weekend after that will be TOC. So one of my favorite tournaments of the year.
Tournament of Champions. Yep. So good luck to you, Ben. I'm sure we're going to see continued success out of you, and we're going to be watching closely to see what this new paddle does for your game. And I encourage everybody to go check this out. I think it's just available this week, so you can go order this right now. If you want, don't forget, use my promo code, get a little money off. You know, every little penny helps. So Ben, we'll see you on the courts. Maybe we'll see you. I know for sure next year at Atlanta. Hopefully you'll come down again.
Yeah, for sure.
That's always fun to see all the pros up close and personal. And everybody, thanks for tuning in, and congratulations to the winner of the Omni. We'll get that out to you right away. Send me your address, and we'll see everybody next time. Thanks a lot, Ben.
All right, thanks, Jack.